see this weekend spectacular. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Grandma. I'm so happy. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
We're here to fill out some paperwork.
We are. Get our folks up here. Good morning.
I assume this is what happens with everybody.
Every day. This is exciting.
Not quite every day, but
All right.
We got 3 filled out. Got checks.
All right. So we sign right. Here.
I'll sign at the bottom and list those for you.
4th of June. My anniversary. Special for many reasons. There we go. All right.
She was long.
Every second. All right.
I mean, this is just like when we go to the DMV, right?
That's it. So.
Information.
It's been a long time coming, huh?
Thanks for all the work you guys do.
No, it's busy time.
Yeah, no, every day of the year, but I know the cameras come on this day, but we know what you do every day. Great.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
We need to take the obligatory photo in front of.
Yeah, you do that. Of course.
Okay, yeah, you bet.
Good, thanks. Enough.
Oh, thank you.
That's GFE Finance.
Yes.
There's some time sensitive stuff in there. You may have already filed it, but just in case.
Great.
All
Check
my
it.
info is the same.
I'm not sure. You want to check with them because this is a different campaign.
There you go.
And get you your copy as soon as I get done here. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
And Gus was on fire all the way up. Oh. He goes.
Hi, Spencer.
He
Hey,
goes.
Becky. How's
How
it
are
going?
you? Good.
A little tired.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
That's I mean, we spend a lot of time together. So
You gotta start the 6th grade less spelling bee.
that's right.
Gus said he said, Mom gave you the eyes in the mirror look. You know what I mean?
I know that look.
That's what he said.
I give that look.
Yeah, and he said, he goes, it's worse when you turn around and look.
Yes.
The eyes in the mirror look.
Today Siobhan said, my class is going to the park, but I have to go to the Capitol. That's my girl. Yep.
Okay, I'll need a copy for each of you of this.
All right, great.
You got it.
Great. That was
Is
nice.
my mayor back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sleeping in his office.
Well, per usual, right?
I mean, I got
Well, you know.
There he is. Do you want me to?
I mean, if it's okay, I'll just say hi.
Oh, there's the real work.
That's right.
Voter registration cards.
Thank you.
League of Women Voters.
That's right.
Yeah. That is a work in progress. You ready? Yep. All right.
Yeah.
It's official.
All right, then, in those packets, in the one from our office, is our campaign manual, and there's some more forms in there for lists and maps and other things you need from our office.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you're filed, campaign.
You are a candidate for Lieutenant Governor. Congratulations. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
get those.
there. Okay, ready?
Yay.
There you go.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, we got a few.
All right. Thank you.
Spencer.
Spencer, send that to us for our scrapbook. We're going to need that. So. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to all of you who are here with us. We're grateful, and to all of you in the press, as always, thank you. I'm going to do a point of personal privilege here before we start to thank my dear wife. It is our 24th wedding anniversary. I'll never forget it again anyway, so thank you all. Well, we're excited to be here. This morning I woke up in Greater Minnesota. Peggy Flanagan woke up in the Twin Cities. As we said all along, this is one Minnesota. We're stronger together. We're stronger. We unite around those principles that we know built a great Minnesota. And those progressive values of the strongest public education system in the country, the idea that your neighbors should have access to high quality health care, and the idea that this strength and economic strength of this state lies diversely in every corner of the state. So the message that we have been taking from the beginning of this campaign was this is a strong one in Minnesota, where the false narratives of the divided state, whether it be racially, whether it be economically, or whether it be geographically, would be rejected. And I think we've seen that there are messages that want to say just the opposite, that there are certain folks can win in the Twin Cities and there's certain folks that can win in Greater Minnesota. That is a false choice. We are not either or. We are both and that's the way this state was built. So we're looking forward to taking this campaign to the people. We're looking forward to campaigning joyfully, optimistically, uniting the state. And what Peggy and I know, those of us who really believe and truly have it in their hearts for a progressive Minnesota that's looking to the future, that can only be done by uniting the state. It can only be done by winning in every corner of the state. And to be very honest, it can only be done by electing a DFL governor and a DFL legislature. And that's going to take that message out there. We believe that we're the ticket to do that, and I could not be prouder that we've done this differently. We've done it in a partnership over 8 months that have tried to understand where those differences were at, where those commonalities were at, and finding solutions. And Peggy Flanagan has been, through her entire career, a champion of exactly that. A champion on early childhood education, a champion on understanding that Minnesota is incredibly diverse. And being a daughter of the White Earth Nation, understanding that we have 11 sovereign nations existing inside the borders of this state, all who want a seat at the table, deserve a seat at the table, and will have a seat at the table when we're elected governor come November. So, Peggy, thank you.
Hey, it's my pleasure. So we've been waiting for this day. We've been working together for about 8 months now, and it feels good. I feel positive and joyful, and I know that all of you do as well. And I just wanted to, this is something that I've talked about on the trail, but I think it's important to mention again. We believe that we have an opportunity to take this vote to the people across Minnesota. There are Democrats all over the state who deserve to be able to participate in this process. On caucus night, my hero and my mentor and the most important person in my life is my mom, and she is here today. Say hi, Mom. And my mom wasn't able to participate in the caucus process and wasn't able to cast her vote in the straw poll. And this August, she's going to be able to vote for both of us. And I think And there are folks like my mom all over the state who deserve to be part of this process, who deserve to have their voices heard, and we are just ready. We've been doing this work together for a long time, and we just are ready to keep going. So thank you so much for coming out, and thank you to our dear friends and family for being here with us today. It is an exciting time, and we're ready.
We are ready. If you got any questions, we're glad to answer.
What do you think about the Aaron ticket?
Well, I think it's always, we're happy, we're glad to see Aaron McQuaid in this fight anymore. Voices in democracy is always a good thing. We're certainly focused on what we're able to do. I think folks recognize that this is a ticket that looks like and reflects Minnesota. It's one that takes that message to every corner, and we're just excited to tell our story.
And what do you think of the breaking news that Aaron McQuaid did not know what E85 was?
Well, we know where this goes, and we're the DFL party. I started my speech the other day as I grew up farming with my family, and I tell people that I graduated those 24 kids in my class. That's not meant to be a punchline, that's who I am. I have carved out a career in Congress as being the nation's leading voice, along with Colin Peterson, on advanced biofuels. This is a really important issue, and it's those types of things that Greater Minnesota knows. And it's our agricultural producers care deeply about this, but this is, again, an attempt at division where the food we produce and the fuel that we produce in Greater Minnesota benefits the Twin Cities too, and that's where we can't allow that to happen. So what I know about this ticket is we certainly know what it is. We've certainly advocated for it. We certainly had $100 million in the last Farm Bill for the Renewable Energy for America program, and those folks in southern Minnesota know that, those folks about greater Minnesota know that, and they know this is the DFL ticket to unite the state.
Does it disqualify her for being lieutenant governor? That she didn't know the answer to that question.
I mean, I think we are clear, again, that additional voices in the race that's important. We need a diversity of folks who are traveling across the state and talking to folks about what they care about. We believe it's time to let the people vote, and it is. I think folks can file and can run, but we really feel like we're the ticket to speak to everybody across the state.
Congressman Walz, could you address that question? Is she qualified to be governor?
The voters will determine that, and I think we're pretty clear that we're taking this to the people. That was always our intention. I'm very proud of how we did this weekend, but it's a lot bigger room now, and the folks will make the case. And I think, again, I'll stand, as I have this entire campaign, on the accomplishments that we had, the vision that we have. This nation will lead us in the clean energy future. We will move away from fossil fuels, and it is a key component of this is clearly understanding what our biofuel legacy is and what we can do. So as governor, lieutenant governor, it's very clear on that front who's the most qualified.
Congressman, your opponent, Jeff Johnson, Republican opponent Jeff Johnson, said this is the most. He was talking about the endorsed ticket. It's the most liberal ticket the Democrats have ever endorsed. Are you folks afraid that your efforts are going to be painted that way too?
Well, I think we're going to be painted as effective, which we saw. We're certainly glad that there's an awful lot of folks across the state, and on Rochester on their first ballot saw us as the ticket, but it's far bigger than that. It was always about this idea of a united Minnesota. It's a rejection of the piece of this. They will certainly try and paint this a certain way. The fact of the matter is, I did coach that football team to a state championship in Greater Minnesota. I did serve this state for 24 years in uniform. I have lived and understand what folks are out there, and we'll make our case to them. Peggy Flanagan has spent her career building and working for children and families, and so the messaging will be on that they'll continue to do. The fact is it's very clear that there is one ticket on all sides of this aisle that has the potential to unite this state around common progressive values.
All right, we're ready to go.
Thank you all.
Let's go!
Wherever we're involved, it's not morning. It's like Saturday. Let's go. Food truck in it.
Congressman, I can thank you, and Congressman Stern, nice to see you. I'm going to do this.
Get it.
I might ask you for
What's wrong with
everybody. Let's go.